Hi there, I'm Darren McDermott and you're watching this economic update on Thailand. There was a significant slowdown in Thailand's economy for the final quarter of 2013. Growth forecasts have been cut again due to political unrest. The protests have forced many ministries and state agencies to close. I'm joined by Euben Paracuelles, South Asia economist at Nomura in Singapore. So Euben, what are your growth forecasts for this year and when do you see the situation getting better?
Our forecast for the year is at 3%, but this is a forecast we made before the February 2 elections, and the elections did not result to any conclusive outcome. In fact, what it brought was more uncertainty, and it's going to be a while before we get a proper functioning government. So the risk to that forecast is substantially to the downside. In terms of the situation getting better, I think it's probably not going to be likely, at least throughout this current quarter. As we saw in the fourth quarter, the political unrest had a very substantial impact on growth already. But this time around, for this quarter, we have a full quarter where we've seen consistent risks from the political side. So I would imagine the impact that we saw in Q4 would probably be increased further in this quarter.
The government is suffering from many budget problems due to the political instability. Now, is there much the central bank can actually do to protect the economy? And do you think we will see a rate cut soon?
Yeah, the central bank is really the only institution now that has the ability to try and support the economy. So we are expecting them to cut rates pretty soon, but it will be only within 25 or another 50 basis points of rate cuts, not more. We think that they don't have much more room to do that beyond 50 basis points because they're worried about financial stability risks, given that debt levels, particularly in households, have risen very sharply over the last few years. And so they wouldn't want to fuel that further by bringing the cost of borrowing lower again.
Last month, consumer confidence fell to its lowest level in more than 2 years. Do you think the economy has not reached bottom yet? And will we see confidence continue to sink?
Yes, I would think so. Private consumption was actually for Q4 where we had a little bit of a surprise in terms of how quickly it has fallen. But then again, as I mentioned earlier, this is going to be exacerbated in Q1 given the extent of the increase in political uncertainty compared to the previous quarter. But not only that, I would also generalize more broadly to overall private sector spending. So on top of consumer spending, investment spending from the private sector will also likely suffer further on the back of this political uncertainty. And that's really going to exacerbate the slowdown that we've already seen in overall economic activity.
And finally, what sort of impact is this having on the markets? And what sort of trading trends are we seeing with the Thai baht?
Yeah, our view is, we're still pretty concerned about the outlook on the currency. It has strengthened a little bit in the last few sessions, and there's been quite a bit of stability before that. I think that's partly because of the Bank of Thailand intervening and coming to the markets to reduce the volatility. But again, we've seen the price action today. A lot of the Asian peers have actually rallied against the dollar, but not so on the Thai baht, again, on the back of this weak headline GDP number. And I think what is not really fully priced in yet is the fact that, we could probably see an extended period of political unrest, which should put more fears on the market as far as the currency is concerned. And bear in mind, again, as we've highlighted earlier, we are still going to see more rate cuts by the BOT. So all in all, that's not really going to be very supportive of the Thai baht going forward.
Euben, thank you very much. Well, viewers, make sure you also take a look at Thomas Kaplan's press review on Japanese growth. Goodbye for now.